Hello everybody, good evening ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the meeting of the Scrutiny and Performance Committee. Now Mike is going to read the fire safety instructions. Give me something to do.
Good evening ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Scrutiny and Performance Committee. Could I please ask everyone to note the fire safety instruction. There are no fire drills planned for this evening. In the event of the fire alarm sounding, please leave the building via the nearest exit and make your way to the assembly point located in the Market car park adjacent to the Civic Suite building. Please do not return to the building unless given permission by council staff. I would like to also remind you to please switch off your mobile phones or turn them to silent. Please note that the meeting will be live streamed where the proceedings are capable of repeated viewing. Please ensure that your microphone is switched on when speaking and you speak clearly into the microphone. Once finished speaking, can you please switch off your microphone to avoid feedback noise? If you are seated in the public area of the chamber, it's likely that your image will be captured by the recording cameras and result in your image being part of the broadcast. If members are for any reason not present for the whole debate on an item, you should consider whether it would be appropriate for you to vote on that item. May I also remind members to declare any interests and the nature of the interest at the beginning of an agenda item, and that, on declaring a pecuniary interest, you are required to leave the room when the item of business is considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Very well done. Right then, so item number 1, apologies from absence. Do we have any apologies? Everybody's here, aren't they? No. Councillor Booth?
Yeah, Phil Camp would like to send his apologies.
All right, okay, thank you. Right, item 2, minutes of the meeting held on the 5th of December. Are the minutes agreed, members, or do we have any questions? Agreed? Cool. Item 3, declaration of any interests. I don't see any hands, so no. Do we have any, item 4, do we have any public questions on notice? No, no public questions on notice. Right, members, item 5, review of outside bodies and partnerships. Members, we will now consider the report of the Corporate Manager, Legal and Democratic Services relating to review of outside bodies and partnerships. Claire Mayhew will present this report. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Chair. Everything's really laid out in the report, but happy to take any questions.
Members, do we have any questions? No? Yes. Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Chairman. And apologies, Claire, if I've missed it. Is there a key or a code to the RAG rating and how that was decided, please?
Sorry, yeah. The RAG rating. So the outside body, anything that's in green is obviously been a response from the outside body. And obviously the red is saying that they've either not received a reply from either the council or the outside body regarding the appointment. Obviously the orange, I would say, is... I don't really know what the orange is really with this councillor one. So Councillor McPherson, you've got orange next to your name on one thing. I'd just like to know, was that a positive comment or not?
Okay, let me have a look and I may be able to tell you. What one would that be?
That would be the Essex Countrywide Traveller Unit. It may say that you're invited, but you haven't met regularly. It might be something around that.
Okay, then no, I can't work out what the amber is. What I would say is that would have been a positive that we are there for those meetings because they do impact.
And it's very positive from the outside body, so there'd be no changes on that outside appointment.
It would be interesting because I saw the one with the Essex Heritage Trust, and as that's red and then also amber, and yet it does feel, especially with some of the heritage in our district, to understand that a little bit more. But that's my only query with the report, I'm afraid.
No, that's fine. I can bring them back or circulate what they actually mean when I speak to the clerk who helped support me on this. So obviously with the heritage one that Councillor Williams goes to, he's just said, yeah, that he's appointed, but he only actually attends the annual general meeting every year. So that's one meeting. So it's not like it's a regular thing, and the reporting back will just be of the AGM. Yep. Any more questions?
Just clarification, the South East Essex Children's Partnership Board, I have now received the dates, and I'll be attending my first meeting online at the end of February. So thank you, whichever officer
Yeah.
sorted that out.
No, that's fine, Councillor Booth. That would have been Mrs Anderson. I did say in the review here, it says the corporate manager will review because no meetings had been planned. So that's good news. Thank you.
Councillor Webb.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to say thank you to officers for pulling this report together. As a steering group, I think we met 3 times and had some very productive meetings. We felt that it was a worthwhile exercise. There was a lot of work carried out, as you can see from the various appendices. We did feel, however, that this piece of work did not need to be carried out on an annual basis, and that was the reason for recommendation R3, that a review of the Council's arrangements for outside bodies and partnerships be undertaken biannually, and we felt that was appropriate. It could be even every 3 years, to be fair, because we didn't feel there'd be that much difference between one year to the next. But as a piece of work in itself, I think it was a useful exercise to carry out. And again, my thanks to the officers for doing the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Webb. Any more questions or no? Nobody's asking any questions. No? Okay, so we'll move on to the recommendations. Can I have a seconder for those, please?
Yes, Chairman.
Councillor McPherson. Slightly too late there, Councillor Webb. Right, so recommendation 3. Are we happy with 2 biannually with that? Yeah, okay.
It was a significant amount of work for the officers to undertake, and the steering group did meet, I think it was 3 occasions, which did involve correspondence with each of the outside bodies and the councillor responsible for that work. I would be happy if it was every 3 years, but would accept if it was every 2 years as well.
Putting that forward to amend the motion, to amend the recommendation.
I'd be happy to amend it so it's every 3 years, yes.
Okay, do we have a seconder? I'm quite happy to second that. Would you just take a vote on that to change the recommendation on that? So all in favour of 3 years instead of 2 years for the review? Vote for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for that. Those against? 1, 2, 3. And abstentions? None, so that's everybody. Okay, so we will. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine. Even though you've agreed 3 yearly, if you do see some significant change in the reporting back to the committees from people, and they're actually saying they're not meeting very regularly, they're not getting invited or anything like that, the Scrutiny Committee can ask to pull that forward.
Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Chairman. We didn't open it to debate, but my reasoning for not going for 3 years is, as we're going down the devolution route, I thought it was more appropriate that we would revisit this within a 2-year period. But the vote's now been taken place.
Right, so the amendment of recommendation 3, we're okay to take these on block once I read them all out? Okay, right, so recommendation 1, appointments to 2 outside bodies and partnerships be made by the full council at its first meeting in each municipal year. Recommendation 2, to bring it into line with the number of representatives on the majority of outside bodies. The number of representatives appointed to the Hotley Community Centre Association be reduced to 1 representative each year, with effect from the first meeting of the full council of the 25-26 municipal year. Recommendation 3, a review of council arrangements for outside bodies and partnerships to be undertaken tri-yearly commencing 25-26. Review will include a report back to the final meeting of the Scrutiny and Performance Committee. Recommendation 4, representatives appointed to outside bodies and partnerships be required to report back to the final meeting of the appropriate committee during each municipal year, and more often if deemed necessary. And recommendation 5, authority be delegated to the monitoring officer to make necessary changes to the constitution. We'll now vote on a show of hands. Those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you, members. Right, members, item 6, the work plan. I think we've got a slight amendment to that. Oh.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The Launchpad relocation update that was due this evening will now come back to March, and also there will be a report on the cost of living on the March committee as well. There was a motion at council from Councillor Velma Wilson on the school traffic calming.
Traffic calming. Go to the scrutiny.
Yeah, so that will be added to the March March meeting. The mention of highways rangers. I believe this is actually part of this SEPP monies. So that actually, the SEP money that will actually just fall into there, and this will be redone to show that. What was the other thing we was going? Oh, the South End Airport reports. This report normally comes around July time, so I've been advised by Economic Development to maybe bring that back in the new municipal year, because that's the work that they're planning. And that'll probably be more beneficial for this sort of, we're near enough at the end of that, and they'll be having their new report coming forward. So if the committee are happy with that, I suggest with the chair that that was brought forward to another meeting, taken forward to another meeting.
Thank you, Claire. One other thing I will say, as we've got no pre-election now, we could actually have another meeting in April, which I will chat to officers about to break up some of this. So we've got quite a lot in the last meeting of the year if we don't break it up. Councillor McPherson, you want to say something?
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry, you preempted one of the questions I was going to ask, because even with removing the Southend Airport report, we're still down to 7 items on the next meeting in March. Could the officer explain to the committee why the report, the verbal update on the Launchpad relocation and also on the cost of living isn't presented tonight?
Claire?
The verbal updates. Mrs. Barnes is unfortunately not able to attend because her daughter's ill. There is a update on the cost of living here that I can ask the chair to read out for you.
Thank you. It's only one side of A4, so. Right, this is some work that is supporting the cost of living across Rochford. Launch of a new community supermarket at St Mark's Hall in Rochford. The community-led initiative provides local residents access to food at a fraction of the cost of regular supermarkets. This facility is open every Tuesday from 10 to 12 noon, and is supported by Essex County Council, Rayleigh and Rochford Association of Voluntary Services, RAVS, which is Rochford Voluntary Association Services, and Feed Britain. The plans are to expand the service across the areas of the district. Winter warmth packs. Rochford District Council allocated an additional £4,500 to RAVS to provide warm packs to more vulnerable residents. More details can be provided at the March committee on a number of residents that have been supported. Citizens Advice delivers a webinar looking at pensioner poverty to statutory partners and voluntary sector organisations. Areas covered include the cause of poverty and how pensioner households are disproportionately affected by fuel poverty, pension credit and winter fuel payments, and a lack of knowledge of how to access the service, including wider benefits such as attendance allowance, digital exclusion and how organisations can support residents, mental health issues and impact. The session also provided some practical energy saving tips, such as warm home discount, priority service register in regard to utility customers, and how organisations can identify older adults in need. That's the update we've had at the moment, and I'm sure she will expand on that when we have her next.
May I
Councillor
just come back
McPherson.
on that? Thank you, Chairman, and I'll stop after I've just come back on this. Those two verbal updates, just looking at the time we've got for the next meeting, could we have written reports for noting instead of a verbal update? I think that it might help the meeting flow a little. And I'm not sure if the chair of the Dementia Working Group would feel appropriate, but perhaps, as that's not yet had the chance to have a meeting, that could go forward to April to listen it. But that's down to the chair of that working group. Thank you.
I don't think we've chosen a chair yet, but I've asked the officers, because it's a working group, so hopefully we can have 2 or 3 working groups. Well, that's coming out very soon to get that organised, because we need to come back by the end of this municipal year to report back to full council. So I'm well aware that we're running out of time on that. Thank you. Councillor Shaw.
Thank you, Chair. The community supermarket that's in St Mark's Hall has now been extended. Rochford Parish Council has agreed they can extend it now until the end of February. But that is not an ongoing thing. Speaking to them, they seem to have to ask the parish to go every month. That's the update. But it seems to be going well with some of them. I've had feedback, some like it, some don't, but you can't please everyone. But I'll just let you know it's going on for another 4 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shaw. Councillor Booth.
Yes, thank you for the work plan. It does seem very busy for March, so I hope we can move forward with the meeting for April and May. And it'd be really useful as councillors if we got those dates within the next couple of weeks because of our calendars and our diaries. I would also like to wonder if it'd be possible, because I think in the December minutes it does state under the S106 update that we'd asked if it'd be possible for someone from the NHS to come and speak to councillors about these pots of money. Some of us were concerned we might never see in our district because they'll be taken back again. So I'd really like that to be moved forward at some point over the next few months and added to the work plan, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, we can see what we can do with that. Councillor Shaw.
With what Councillor Booth has said, it may be also worth asking Councillor Mike Steptoe, because he's doing a lot of work in the background with the Section 106 money for the NHS. So he's got a lot of details. So I completely agree with Councillor Booth. It should come forward, but I know Councillor Steptoe is getting a lot of information. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we can write to Essex and ask if Councillor Steptoe can come.
Chairman, it's not Essex. RDC hold the money for the NHS. It's not Essex. Okay, so
So he can just be invited to attend, that's fine.
yeah, but I don't know
fine.
how that works with the officers. If he can come and maybe
I don't see
advise.
why not.
Thank you.
He's a backbencher and he can come and speak. It's just no voting. That's fine.
Councillor Webb.
Thank you, Chair. Just a bit of further information about the community supermarket. I attended a meeting about it this week where we were given some updated figures. It is doing well. In its first 5 sessions, over 80 households were served, which totaled 213 residents. So it is growing and it is doing well. Hopefully it will be rolled out to other parts of the district in time, but it certainly made a good start, which is welcome for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Booth. That's all right. Oh, Councillor Cripps.
Yeah, Just go back to the 106. I did a little bit of searching, scratching myself there. The way it works is we hold the money, but it's up to the NHS to come to us and tell us what they want it used on. So where the logjam is, I don't know. I think it's probably sheer scale with NHS. And I think what they do is defer it to the local trust people to give the local advice of what they might use it for. But it certainly needs a shove because, as Councillor Shaw said, Councillor Steptoe did the whole county, and it in all 12 councils, they're all in the same boat. They're holding the money, but nobody's coming forward to say what they want to do with it. So it definitely needs a shove.
Thank you, Councillor Cripps. Anything else? No? Okay. So that's just for noting, really, isn't it? Yep. Right, so item 7 would be the Launchpad relocation update, so we're deferring that to putting that forward to the next meeting. And the cost of living also we're deferring to a future meeting. Right, so that concludes our business for this evening. Thank you, councillors, for turning up on a horrible dark night. And I'll see you at the next one. Thank you very much. Meeting closed at 17:50.